everyone out there in our TPN community. Thanks for joining us for another episode of TPN Talks with Leticia. We have a special guest today, Victor Trillo Jr., our Pathfinder Club program manager. Victor, thanks so much for being here for the conversation. Why don't you start by just introducing yourself with our community?
I'm very honored and fortunate to be on here. My name is Victor Trillo Jr. Everyone knows me as Vic. I've been here at TPN for going on 4 years now. February will be my 4th year anniversary, and it's a dream come true.
Love you sharing that. Thanks, Vic. So my first question for you is to just really tell us a little bit about your role here at the Pathfinder Network, kind of what a typical day in the life of the Pathfinder Club program manager looks like.
It's a personal story of mine. What our mission is in the Pathfinder Club is to serve impacted youth that have been impacted by incarceration, detention, and deportation. And it's something that I do on a daily basis. I show up with my authentic self, and I'm just very moved by the outcomes of seeing the resilience that is continuously being built every day. It's an honor to be a part of the annual anthology that are just uplifting the stories, the wisdom, and poetry of our students that we serve.
You talked about your story being a part of the mission and the work. What's that like to hear your story reflected in the lives of the young people that we're working with?
You know, the first thing that comes to my mind is I was that young boy. My sister was that young girl. My father was incarcerated throughout all my childhood life. My mother was trying to do her darn best, and it's very hard when you have a father that's incarcerated. And so I bring the authenticity of knowing firsthand what it feels like, what it feels like to have that shame and that stigma. When you let people know that your parents incarcerated, how, you're frowned upon, how you're looked upon as a bad kid, as a bad person. But fortunately, what I get to do today is I get to be that example of how, people can change. My father has definitely changed. My mother has definitely changed. They're a wonderful part of my life. And I just deliver hope and inspiration to ultimately support the youth that I work with to reach their fullest potential.
Yeah, that's incredible. I think you're lifting up to the power of transformation that can happen not just with an individual, but with a family and even a community, right? And then we get to see those moments of pride where we're seeing other people, live out their dreams or kind of their goals or aspirations that they had maybe a long time ago when they were thinking about what their future could look like. So thank you for lifting up what that looks like for you, but also your family as well. So my next question for you is just what's something that you're most proud of, or maybe something that you've accomplished in your role here at TPN that you can share with us?
Personally, first, of me just being supported at TPN and starting off as a youth mentor, as a lead facilitator, as a program coordinator, and now as a program manager has just meant the world to me, because I always felt growing up that people didn't believe in me, and having a group of folks that believe in me, coworkers, leadership team, the board of directors, has just been amazing. And one of the highlights is I'm an advisory co-lead and get to work with individuals, adults who have been impacted by the criminal justice system, and get to support them. In addition, my ability to be the manager of 11 clubs that are focusing on supporting young souls, young high schoolers that are in the midst of some darkest, some deep, sad times of their life. And I get to drive the vehicle to support them and work with many community sponsors, community volunteers, 14 in total throughout the country. We're serving approximately 300 to 350 kids a year. And I know that I'm behind it every day by showing up, bringing my fullest true self, bringing the training that TPN provides me. And I'm able just to leverage, first on my lived experience, my authenticity, and my drive. And the huge highlight also would be the fact that we got to launch a Pathfinder Club in Donald E. Long and Multnomah County Juvenile Hall to support the youth in detention, which is truly meaningful to me. So I know I threw a lot at you, but there's a lot to be said.
Hey, that's amazing. I love that so many different things that you've been able to contribute here are things that you're proud of and are accomplishments that you've had, that we've had as an organization, and has impacted not just, the staff and the team, but the participants in the community. And that's kind of what I want to hone on. And I've said it a bunch of times, but I think Pathfinder Network is really powered by lived experience. It's kind of the gas that fuels us in our work. And so when I hear you talk about your accomplishments and the things that you are proud of, I just think about the light that's been created for people who are also in dark places. And, for there to be a light, there has to be darkness. And the way that, we show up in community and engage community means that we're creating light all over the place. we're leaving a little bit of light everywhere we go. And something I just want to name is, we had a vision probably 4 years ago, Vic, to get the club into the detention facility here in Portland. And it's so cool. And it's just been an honor to do that work with you and to bring, again, light into a place that can feel really dark. And, you can see when you walk in, you got your pizzas and the other team members are there too. You see the light in the eyes of the young people that we're going there to serve. And so we're able to bring in light and powerful ways, and you're leading that. Just want to really name that. And thank you for your contributions. The mission is something that I know is important to both of us. We both are really aligned with it. So our mission is to provide justice system impacted individuals and families the tools and support that they need to be safe and thrive in our communities. So what does that mission mean to you, and what do you see for the future of the Pathfinder Network?
The mission is something that I've committed to heart, that I also memorize, and I truly believe in it because it totally aligns with my life. It's not only talking about individuals, and it's talking about families, and that's something that's meaningful that I've been fortunate to be a part of at the Pathfinder Network, is to see what that full wrap looks like. We take a participant that I'm working with. Through building that trust, I'm able to find out that the family also are having barriers that they're enduring. And I'm able to reach out to a fellow colleague and say, hey, I think your program aligns with the needs right now. Would you be able to support the individual's family? And I've seen it happen countless of times. Like, I can attest to, how I am seeing, families being provided the tools and the support that they need, to ultimately be safe and thrive in our communities. And I see it firsthand on a daily basis. And it's something that I'm truly honored to be a proud of.
I love that connection. What about the future? What do you see, kind of in your seat here at the Pathfinder Network? What are some of the things in your vision for us going forward?
To continue to extend the reach, definitely. I think I've said this once I've started, is I believe that the Pathfinder Club could be in a backyard, it could be in a church basement, it could be in your local community center, it could be in your high school, it could be, outside in the community somewhere. We shout out to our Pathfinder Club community club at the Center for Family Success every other Wednesday. I really believe the importance of being able to have a space where young Victors, young Monicas, young other kids throughout the country that are enduring the impacts of incarceration, detention, and deportation, for them to have a space where they could build community, where they could see other kids to know they're not alone. They could self-express freely, and then ultimately they can get published in an annual anthology. It's a great, meaningful concept to me, and I would love to continue to extend the reach. And then also in my personal growth, I'd love to advance here within the Pathfinder Network to a position that aligns with the work that I'm doing now. So I'm just optimistic about the growth of Partnered Impact.
That's exciting. I think growth is definitely in our future. One of the things that I think about in our work, I think about the video library, which is a project I'm really proud of that we worked on together. You have empowered a lot of people to tell their stories, including me. I remember when we were scoping out the project and, the executive producer said, Leticia, you should tell your story. You don't talk about your story a lot. And I remember you preparing, and I thought, gosh, if he can tell his story, your story's so powerful and there's so much meaning and connection to the mission, then I should be able to do that too. So I think, you create light, but I think you also give voice to people who have not had that voice before, or maybe didn't believe in their ability to use their voice. So take that with you as you go forward now and definitely into the future, the ways that you're bringing voice and uplifting the voices of people who are really impacted, but who also can and should be leading the work. Thank you, Vic, for this conversation. I appreciated all that you shared and for everything that you're sharing with our community here at TPN. So thanks so much. And thank you to all of you who joined us for another episode of TPN Talks with Leticia. We'll see you next time.